Welcome to the Dream Discover Do podcast. My name is Kaden Nelson. I'm with the Shreve Memorial Library Marketing Department, and today I'm here with...
Hi, my name is Elijah. I work at the Broadmoor branch of the Shreve Memorial Library.
Hi, my name is Salem, and I work at the Cedar Grove Line Avenue branch of the Shreve Memorial Library.
What's going on? I am Edwin Sherman from the Moortown branch of the Shreve Memorial Library.
And before we get started on the actual topic today, I would like to ask y'all if there's any fun or interesting things happening at your branch that you would like to update us on.
Well, at my branch, at the Moortown branch, we have game days on Monday and Friday from 3 to 4. And on Wednesday mornings, we have story time called Read Me a Story. Plus, we have different summer camps coming over to the branch and got some puppetry, got some video games, board games, whole bunch of good stuff.
The Cedar Grove Line Avenue Library branch is currently closed to the public to take care of some renovations and repairs, but hopefully will be soon open, like within the next week or so. We have a lot of fun stuff for our summer reading program this year, Color Our World. We've got like lots of arts and craft programs and fun game days and things like that. So come join the fun.
Yeah, and at the Broadmoor branch, we're still doing our Color Our World. So we have lots of fun performers, different people that are coming to that. And we also have our story time on Saturdays. It starts from 10, usually goes to 11. So we have that going on as well. So yeah, that's the fun we're having over here.
Awesome. And I know that we are having a family literacy night here as well, July 12th. Yes, July 12th at 6 p.m.
Yes.
And I think that's around 6 to 7:30-ish.
Yeah, I think that's the time frame. Yeah.
And if I didn't say, it will be at the Broadmoor branch. I don't know if I already plugged that. But yeah, Family Literacy Night, July 12th at the Broadmoor branch. And I think this is a good segue into our topic today, which is digital media versus physical media. It is National Audiobook Month this month.
Happy National Audiobook Month, you guys.
Listen in on the fun and read.
And this is the perfect medium to now talk about digital and physical media, because we all kind of grew up, because we're all around 20, in our early 20s. And so we kind of grew up in an age where we didn't fully have just physical media, but we also didn't just have digital media. And so, especially during schooling, we kind of went back and forth between, we would listen to this book or we would read this book. And so I would like to know, like, do y'all prefer more digital stuff or do y'all prefer physical media? What do y'all think?
I think for me, like you said, since we all grew up kind of with a mix of both, I find that I also kind of do a mix of both.
Me too, yeah.
Same here.
Yeah, so like if there's a book, I'm kind of old school with books. I do like to sit and like have a physical book in my hand and read. But I've noticed that if, for some reason we just have digital copies, like we have the audiobook or the ebook, I will go ahead and just listen to the audiobook. I think it also just depends on who's reading it too.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like recently I listened to Beloved by Toni Morrison, and her voice is amazing. So listening to her read her own book was really spectacular. So I really enjoyed that. But yeah, I think I do myself just enjoy a little mix of both. It kind of just depends for me personally.
When I was younger, I definitely preferred physical, just because I really liked having it in my hands, and I was never really a big fan of ebooks because it just didn't stick in my brain as much. But now that I'm older and a lot of adult things to take care of and don't have as much time to just sit down and just purely just read a physical book, I have been reading a lot of audiobooks lately. I actually got through the, Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, Sunrise on the Reaping, and then the Hunger Games trilogy within I think 2 months. And that was just listening to it, going when I was driving to and from work and stuff. So Yeah, but yes, also definitely depends on like who's reading it, because there's two different versions of the Hunger Games audiobooks, and I prefer the one where the actress for She-Hulk reads it. She sounds more like Katniss to me. It's so good. But yeah, what about you?
I would say for me, as the 30-something at the table, 31, going on 32 next month, I would prefer old school physical books or media. However, like you say, as you get older, adulting, you got to do what you got to do, grown folk stuff. I've embraced the audio book.
Yeah.
I haven't really embraced ebooks. Like you say, sometimes it just doesn't stick. It's like, you see the screen, and if your power goes low, it's like, oh, Lord, I'm trying to squint and see what I'm looking at. But and it also depends how you say who's ever reading it. Now, for me, this is a little different. I like, there's this, and it's in physical form as well as digital form, and you could look it up or stream it. It's called graphic audio. So think of like the old, show you there's nothing new under the sun, radio stories back in the 40s and 50s. So it's not necessarily read to you as more, so it might be read, but it's acted out.
Yes.
So you
That's
hear
really
the effects, like if it's an explosion, you hear the explosion.
Yes.
You're hearing the emotions, you hear the actors and the characters emote. So I love that because you're listening to it and your imagination is like, now it's going, you're imagining the scene, the setting. You're not dictated by what a screen or picture is showing you.
Right.
And some of my favorites would be, and I'm old school with this one, there was a series called The Executioner, Mac Bolan. This was actually the inspiration for The Punisher, Marvel's Punisher. And then they've had some others. Suspense is old series, probably like the 40s or 50s. I know Boris Karloff had something back in the day. And I recently had just listened to, because I had a show I recently did, Paul Robeson as Othello. And I think the actress that he was acting with was Uta Hagen. I think UTA and then Hagen, Hagen. They did Othello. So
cool.
I like a lot of those audio stories like that.
So what's funny is, so I didn't like reading for the longest time. Okay, well, I did growing up, and then around like middle school, high school, I just kind of stopped like liking to read. Then it wasn't until like freshman year of college, and I actually found some like random audio drama by Ray Bradbury, and it was I think it was the one There Will Come Soft Rains and Night Call Collect. And those audio dramas like actually made me want to start reading. And then that's what made me start, like, then I just exploded into, like, now I have thousands of books in my house, and it was just because of like that digital media from ironically the 1940s or 50s that then sparked my interest in reading today in 2020. So I find that to be interesting, because that's the opposite of what happened during school. Because it was during school, whenever we were forced to listen to audiobooks, that's when I was like, I don't like doing this. But then like now, like something about like the audio drama with it having audio effects and like people were acting it out, it really made me like engage with what I was taking in a lot more.
It helps feel like a lot more immersive. And I think that's what, as a kid, I really, still now, I really love about like physical books, is because like I have a very active imagination. I don't know about y'all, but I have like one of those imaginations where like if you picture an apple, like I can see like the color, the little shiny spot, whatever. So I love reading, but
Yeah.
I will say, and this might be on the controversial tip, but I'm going to go around. Anybody that can Google will know who I'm talking about. So to show you the power of, I guess, say an audio book or an audio story where you're just listening and not watching, there was this music series in the mid-2000s. There was this singer who they called the King of R&B. Now you Google, you might know who I'm talking about. Starts with the letter R. And there was the audio, the song came out. This was before the music video came out. So I remember as a kid, me and my folks literally, we were in like Sam's parking lot on Uri Drive. We literally pulled to the side over on the road. There were people literally pulling over on the side of the road, listening to how scandalous the story is, and whether you admire the artist or not, the story had millions of people invested literally at the same time. And so it shows the power of imagination, the power of audiobooks, whether someone is reading it out to you and you like that straightforward talking, reading the story to you, like basically an adult story time, but digitally, or an audio drama where they're acting out the story and they're putting emotions and they're putting feelings and getting you invested into that world. It's more and more the way social media is and the way technology is. There's no one way to satisfy a customer.
Yeah.
Right. And I think now more than ever, I feel like digital forms of like reading books, like audiobooks, ebooks, those are just, I think, really emphasized and really important right now, just because we're in a time where everyone loves to be like on their phone or on the internet or like browsing, looking.
That's right.
And since, our literacy rates are declining and that's a big issue, I think now more than ever, it's important to, like you said, open that world up to people who might not want to sit down and like have the time to read a book, or maybe they they just don't have the same attention span for it.
Right.
And so, like you said, that just opens up a whole new world for people. And then not to mention accessibility. So some people,
That's true.
like I was talking about before we started the podcast, large print sometimes isn't large enough for people that have bad eyesight, or
True.
and so they would prefer to listen to it rather than sit down and have to struggle reading the large print. Or
people with dyslexia.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
dyslexic individuals, they would like to, listen more. So I think like I said, I think it's just really important that we have these now just so easily accessible, because it just opens up a whole new world for people
Absolutely.
who might not just like the traditional form of like reading a book. So,
In the library, we offer Libby, which is y'all probably know more about these digital softwares than I do. I don't normally get on them. Probably should use the library's resources, but I do not. But we have Libby, Hoopla, Overdrive, Canopy, yes.
Canopy.
And if y'all would just kind of tell me, what y'all like about those, and which ones of those y'all, use or like more. Well, not like more, but
I think Libby is really, really cool just because Hoopla just has a wider array of things for you to choose from. So it kind of just depends on like what you're looking for. Because with Hoopla, it's got ebooks, audiobooks,
Music.
movies, music, TV shows.
Yeah.
So it's got a wider array of things for you to check out. But the one thing I don't like about Hoopla is that you have a set 10 checkouts per month.
Right.
And you can
Yeah.
get through those quick. Especially if you're like an avid, like you listen to audio all the time, or
Yeah.
especially if you watch some of the TV shows, they take up, like, it's not like the whole season is one checkout. Sometimes,
per
per
episode, yeah.
episode. And so you can go through those pretty quick. So personally, I just prefer Libby because I mainly do the ebooks and audiobooks, and that's all that Libby offers. And then if you have a Kindle too, which I know most people like to read on their Kindle, you can have the books transferred from the Libby app to your Kindle too. So that's pretty cool. And then Libby, it doesn't have that strict set 10 checkouts a month. If you turn something back in, let's say you had 10 things checked out. If you turn one thing back in, you could check out one more item. So it has a rotating 10, whereas not that rigid set 10 checkouts a month. So that's why I love Libby a lot. But again, it just kind of depends on what you're looking for. They have different things to offer for both, but I personally just prefer Libby for that reason. Is I just get more checkouts out of it.
Out of the two, I typically will use Hoopla over Libby, just because, like, depending on what it is and like how new or how popular it is, sometimes you've got like a 12-week wait list for something on Libby, whereas on Hoopla, like, you can just like get it right away. Doesn't matter if like everyone and their mom is reading it. And so that's what I love about Hoopla, especially, like, I think what was it, when Sunrise on the Reaping came out, I think that's what I used to read it. And then also Ballad of Songbirds and Snake, because it was around the same time, and so that was popular again, and so it was so hard to get a copy off of Libby, but yeah.
Yeah, because I did forget to mention that. Because like you said, there is hold times with Libby, so that's the downside to it sometimes
pros and
too.
cons.
Right, pros and cons.
And I think they have different checkout like times, right?
Times 4, I believe.
I don't remember what they are though.
I don't know. I know Hoopla is my favorite because it's the most variety from music, ebooks, movies. There's so many different magazines. I'm not the most familiar with. I've been on Libby, but not as much as on Hoopla. Like Hoopla is my go-to, but I know with Canopy, what's unique about them, they have like a ticket type of system, something like that, which was kind of weird to me. I was like, well, so I can't like just check. I'm so used to the Hoopla style of things, so Canopy is a lot different, but each one has its own pro and con. But Hoopla is more of my go-to. I've gotten so many graphic novels on there and just
right,
like big name novels and like the obscure stuff that you never seen before. So that's my preferred.
What I love about Canopy is do they have audiobooks on there?
Now that I do not know. I know mainly movies.
I was gonna say,
I know,
it's mainly for films, documentaries,
like
things like that. Yeah.
I know that on the kids Canopy, they have the it's like kind of an audiobook, but it's like a children's book, but they almost like cut out and like kind of move along the pictures or whatever as they're reading it, which is wonderful. And we use that for our Play-Doh Playtime Storytime that we have once a month, which is just really great. But it's super helpful for like kids learning how to read and everything. And I think they have like the words up on the screen and they'll like highlight them as they're reading along. I love that about Canopy. It's really, really great.
Yeah, and then if you like to watch like any of like the older like black and white films, Canopy has a ton of those too.
Yeah,
I've seen.
I was gonna say, so it's kind of cool if you like the older Hollywood, like oldie movies,
like pre-code Hollywood. All
Yeah.
the way from, like, 40s, 50s, 60s. Like that's definitely like a go-to.
I was gonna say, yeah, Canopy has a lot to offer with that as well.
It's insane just like how much of the world opens up when you have a library card.
Yes.
Like, all of this is free if you just get your library card.
Just get your library card.
Come read, hang
we're
out
more
with
than
us.
just books and
Right.
and sitting in a quiet room.
Yeah.
It's so exciting at the library.
Yeah.
And I've met so many patrons that come in and they tell me, oh, I've been buying audiobooks every month from Amazon or from, even Kindle, some of the Kindles, they make you buy their copies of it. And I tell them, I'm like, no, like with Libby, you can upload them for free, or, you can use Hoopla and read it on, if you have an iPad or something, you can read it on there. And so, yeah, like having a library card is so awesome. You have so many great resources available to you, like you said, completely for free.
And if you don't have like a phone or a computer or anything, if you're just like used to CD audiobooks, we have those as well. And then there's also the playaways, which I can't remember if some of them are chargers or some of them, I know that some of them are batteries.
Yeah.
You just need that and some headphones and you're good to go, just like a little MP3 player.
I was going to say, yeah, it kind of operates like an MP3, so.
Wonder Books as well.
Yes.
I think at our branch, we mostly have kids books. We've got like picture books and easy readers and even chapter books. I had this one kid that he was trying to read Diary of a Wimpy Kid, but like he just wasn't really like into it. And then he started using like the Wonder Books, and he flew through that whole series. So highly recommend those. Also a great tool for helping kiddos learn how to read, because they get to hear the words and they can play it themselves and everything. So yeah.
And I was going to say, and adding on to your point about the different like CDs, playaways, and things of that nature, I want to add this because I know what your next question was, Kaden, but I want to say the library is probably going to be one of the last stops for physical media in the world, from movies, DVDs, Blu-rays, video games, CDs, playaways. Even over here at the Broadmoor branch, they have a VHS/DVD player.
Yes, we do.
And I'm like, that's a treasure right there.
Yeah.
So it's really truly one of the last stops. I think the only other places that will rival the library with that would be your thrift stores.
Yeah.
That would really be like the last few. So it shows you just how unique the library is. We're that perfect hybrid of the physical media and the digital. So we're more than just what you think stereotypically. what a library is.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's very interesting that you bring that up, because I found a study from, let's see who it was, by the AAP, Association of American Publishers. And so in 2024, they put up the numbers of what format people bought the most. And obviously digital audio ebooks are growing, but ebooks are only 10.7% and digital audio is only 11.1%.
Wow.
Which honestly kind of shocked me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the most shocking thing was that hardback books went up to 35.1%.
Wow.
Wow.
And I was kind of looking into why, because I was like, why would hardbacks grow that much? And it's mostly because Book Talk books,
Oh, yeah.
they would release deluxe editions, which would have special covers.
Yeah,
and-
like the embossing on the
Yes.
pages.
Oh
yeah.
my gosh, I
Yes.
love the
Yes.
sprayed edges.
Yes.
Now that's becoming very popular. Love that. They're gorgeous.
They are very pretty. The
Oh,
Onyx
gosh.
Storm one was very gorgeous.
Yes.
Very, very pretty.
Have you also seen the Sunrise on the Reaping one? I need it. I need it so bad.
I think I've seen that one. They came out with a whole box set that were
Yeah.
really pretty for the
Yes.
Hunger Games, where like you said, they had the really pretty covers. They had these,
yeah.
I think it was floral pattern with
Yeah.
the
I think some
Mockingjay
birds,
on
yeah.
the pages. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
It's gorgeous.
You ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say that it's interesting because store-wise, besides Barnes and Noble and some local bookstores, you don't really see. I mean, you'll go to Target and Walmart and see some oh, this is the deluxe Target edition, and here's some Target books, that
Yeah.
are 10% off because they always have that sticker on it. But most stores are kind of leaving the books and especially DVDs are kind of
Yeah.
leaving, right? And so it is true that you're seeing a decline in it, and yet there's still this want and need for hardback books and also paperback. Paperback is at 35.6, which apparently has gone down drastically.
Wow.
Where hardcovers have went up this year. And so you brought up Onyx Storm, right? And that is still on the Amazon bestseller of 2025, but only the deluxe limited edition.
That's crazy.
Which is, so it's interesting you brought that up. It was number 4 on that list.
Wow.
And I think all of these books on the top 10 bestsellers were hardcovers, except for one was a coloring book at number 9, which I didn't even think that could be a best-selling book.
The Cozy Friends series. That's
Yeah.
why.
What is that?
That's due to TikTok, I think too.
Oh.
really?
Coloring TikTok got really big for a minute, and I think that I made the point earlier, but I think the reverse can be said about since everything is so you're always on your phone. I think another reason why maybe hardcovers have gone up so much is because the reverse can be said too, where I'm tired of having everything
Yeah.
on a screen, or I just want to go back. So I think we're seeing it's like I said, we're in a weird time for that, because we're seeing some people, mainly younger people, really like things to be digital and really easily accessible on their phone, but
Especially with the generation of having gone through online schooling due to COVID and everything,
And-
they're used to everything being so digital.
right.
And I will even say from my own personal experience with schooling, the online or homeschooling has changed dramatically. I was homeschooled in the 2000s. So shout out to my school, the Becker Academy Homeschooling. We didn't have the streaming back then, so they would ship the DVDs out. So how old it is? DVDs out every 9 weeks. That was the old way of doing things. But now you have that stream of class as it's going on.
Right.
It's a completely different world.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those, I believe, as you had stated earlier, it's one of those things where you have an audience, that niche audience that has a hunger for nostalgia. They have
Yes.
a hunger for going back in time. I
Yeah.
don't want to experience modern day. I want to know what my parents and my grandparents and great-grandparents, how they interpreted a story, how they consumed a story.
Yeah,
So,
I mean,
Right.
records have
Gone
gone
up.
crazy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So CDs as well. Like I
Yes.
know even most people don't own a CD player. Most cars don't no longer
have
have
the
a CD
CD,
player.
yeah.
But I know so many people, especially Swifties, they'll go crazy
Mm-hmm.
and buy all of the it's okay, I can say it because I'm a Swiftie and my best friend is one of these people that she'll buy all of the
variants,
the
yeah.
variants and
Favorites.
everything. Yeah.
And I'm one of those people too, because like you were saying, Edwin, I've always had a big DVD collection just because I'm a big film person. But yeah, like I think we're seeing, like you said, people wanting to kind of go back to that and say, well, I want my own physical DVD collection,
Exactly.
or I want my own physical CD collection.
Or video game.
Yeah, or
collection.
video
Yeah.
game collection, yeah. And I think another reason why is because, you know, with streaming, they can take things off
you
so
don't own
easily.
those things.
Right.
That's the biggest thing.
Exactly.
Even
so
if you buy a digital copy on like Amazon Prime or whatever, and if they take it off, you no longer own that.
right.
It's
Yeah.
And even mentioning that, whether it be video games, movies, music, if it's solely digital, what's to say you wake up the next morning or even 30 minutes later and it's not been manipulated or
Exactly.
changed?
Yeah.
So like
Right.
I literally heard something that even some of the old Disney films, they would cut, chop, paste. But if you have the old VHS from
Yeah.
the 90s, you're going back in time.
Right.
You're actually seeing that. Or like even with video games, back in the day, shout out to everybody like from who went through the cartridge days and the CD days. You had to blow in that cartridge, put the baby on in. Of course, we have video games at the library, so check them out. PS4, it was the Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch. So y'all check
yeah.
them out. We are one of the last destinations for those video games and stuff. So, but there was a time you didn't have an update. You didn't have to wait X amount of hours.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna wait till this patch is done and then I get to play. No, it was put that baby in
Right.
and enjoy.
I loved my Nintendo DS back in the day.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I played
PictoChat?
Super Mario Bros. I love Super Mario Bros.
I was a GameCube guy. It was Super Mario Sunshine, Capcom versus SNK 2, and then the old WWE games on PlayStation 2 and Xbox.
Yep.
So I'm a GTA. Y'all know what the acronym means, and Hitman, and all those other classics.
Crash Bandicoot. I loved Crash Bandicoot.
Spyro.
Yeah, Spyro.
we can go into that one.
On that note about the resurgence of physical media, so part of my studies in like school was about technology and media and stuff. And there's this guy, his name is Walter Benjamin, and he wrote like this essay called the work of art in the age of mechanical reproduction. And so he talks about art in this revolutionary way, about how like art has like aura, and not in like the way we think of it like nowadays, you know, with like the meme of like, oh, you have aura. I mean, it's kind of like that, but like aura means like it means that you have like a place in like history, and it means like okay, so for instance, whenever the Mona Lisa or a different painting was like, you know, made, it was made for a noble's house that would be put up in his house, right? So that work of art would have a lot of aura because it has a time, a place, historical significance.
Okay.
It's the original in the original spot that it was made for, right? Well, then take that work of art, then put it in a, you know, gallery somewhere. Well, now it like kind of loses some of that historical significance and, you know, time and place, because now it's seen by so many different people. It's not just in this one room, seen by one person, it's seen by a whole bunch of people. Now take that work of art and you went to the, you know, art museum, you took a picture of it, you went home, you printed it out, put it on your wall. He says that loses like, you know, a lot more aura, because then it's like there's no original. There's, you know, it's just a picture, and it's not even close to the historical significance. It's just
Right.
like whatever you make. And he's not saying this in like a negative way. He's like, this could be revolutionary, because, you know, now we're taking art from just one person can see it to everybody
Everyone
can have access to it, which is what I find interesting about all these, digital formats is that we're taking it away from just this physical book that you have to go out and get, where you can literally have access to it anytime, anywhere, with the library card for free.
Yeah.
Like it is pretty crazy that we can do that. And he even says that like cinema is the ultimate auraless art because we all, so many people work together to make it. There isn't really an original, like there's the original film, but there's not an original film.
Yeah.
Right. There is just the one that you go see. But now we're in a weird place to where we see that we have ultimate access to all these digital things that we kind of want our art to have a little more aura to it, right? So like people are like, well, I don't just want to download games. I want the physical copy so I can like I want this copy because this copy is mine.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, yeah, I want this record, but I also want the first pressing of this record.
Yeah.
It's not going to sound better.
Or like a certain color or something.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's like, I want this one because this has significance, or I feel like it has significance in the historical presence of this art that I enjoy. And so I find that to be interesting that we're kind of going back to wanting this sort of aura in this art. But yeah, that was my spiel on.
Time is a flat circle, and so are trends.
Yeah, that's true.
And as that saying goes, I believe it's scripture, there's nothing new under the sun. It's literally revolving back and forth, back and forth. I mean, because think about, we were just talking about audiobooks and everything. Well, they had audio stories since for how long?
Right.
And it's coming back in a different form, in a different way. And even when you talk about cinematically, well, we have TikTok, we have YouTube, we have so many digital, like Reels, Instagram Reels, Facebook Reels, things like that nature. But back in the day, of course, you had to go to a physical location, a theater. You had the serials, the small, like short stories,
Or like Nickelodeons.
like the Nickelodeons, not the TV station that we grew up watching, but but things of that nature. And so it's just storytelling continues to evolve, creativity and art continues to evolve, and it goes, like you say, that circle.
If you really think about it, audiobooks have been around since the dawn of time because oral storytelling,
That's what I'm saying.
like Homer and whatever. So,
Yep. So it's
which is very cool to think about.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, because so the Odyssey and the
Iliad?
Iliad, they were originally not written down until like years afterwards, right? Homer, well, they say Homer was the first one to actually write it down, but he didn't necessarily write those pieces. Like, we don't know, but it's like a whole oral tradition. And what's interesting is that scholars think, because there's like fragments of it, that those aren't the only two stories, that those are just the two stories that the Romans or the Greeks thought, well, these are the best two that we're going to keep. But they say like there could be upwards to 12 stories in between, from before the Iliad and then after the Odyssey, or like in between that too. But I find that really interesting that now like audiobooks have become like a growing popularity, because it is just, we're coming right back to it, to that, we want that oral tradition.
Yeah.
But it's also important we keep the tradition of, physical reading as well, because that comes in handy when it comes to, filling out documents and even technology. Like, to work a laptop, you need to sort of have some literacy so you can
That's right.
figure out where things are and what to do. But yeah, I just find that super fascinating, that full circle, like you said.
I mean, like, even like, despite all of the like technological advancements and everything, I think that people are learning now, if everything is digital, it'll take just like one like cyber attack that's like just strong enough to like wipe out everything. And then it's like the Library of Alexandria times 1,000,000. Because there are some things that the only copies that exist anymore are digital. And that is terrifying in terms of like history and record keeping. And
Right.
You got it.
Well, I was just going to say, that's why I think there's good to have, like you said, an even balance of both.
Yeah.
Because, you know, different strokes for different
Yeah.
folks. You know,
Right.
some people, like you said, like me, I adore having like a physical collection
Same.
of things and like being able to like tangibly go to my shelf, be like, oh, I want to watch School of Rock and
Yeah,
pop
exactly.
that in.
Yes.
Exactly.
Or, you know, but some people, they might just be like, I would rather go to Netflix and see if they have it, or like Hulu or something. So I think that's why it's good that we don't go too far in
either
either
spectrum.
direction.
Yeah.
Like we need to have a good balance of both, just because again, it goes back to accessibility. It's accessible for everyone.
Yeah.
Like if you want the physical copy, you can get that. If you want the digital copy, that's there for you too. So yeah, it's good we have a good balance
A
of
hybrid.
both.
You know,
Right.
You need a hybrid of
Yeah.
it. And that's with anything. And I would say, how do you want to consume something?
Yeah.
Give somebody that full-blown option for different decades, areas, and periods and time frames. People were kind of stuck to, the only way you watch a movie is going to the theater. Or
Yeah.
the only way you
Right.
saw something is this, that, and the third, this, that, and the third, or actually, like you say, somebody orally telling it to you. But it just depends on how do you want your story?
Yeah.
Do you want just somebody telling you that story? Do you want to read it? Do you want to listen to it? Do you want to manipulate it like a video game
Yeah.
and actually go through the levels to go along with that story? So,
Like you said earlier, something about you know, like everyone has different preferences, and like you can't always like please everyone.
That's true.
And I think it's because like, you know, we're realizing like collectively as like a society that like everyone is complex, and so yeah, of course you're not going to be able to please everybody, and that's
Exactly.
why it's so important to have all of these options so that everyone is able to experience these stories.
And I think that's a great stopping point. We are running out of time. I would like to ask y'all one question just to end it off. I think it'd be kind of fun. So on the Amazon bestseller list, on the top 10, there's one book that shocked me. Now, I finally understood why it's probably on there, but it's an older book. It's an older children's book. And I want y'all to try to guess which book do you think would be on the Amazon bestseller list as of May 2025? And it's definitely an author you know. Like, we all know him very well. We all read him growing up. And now it's back on the list.
I feel like maybe it's something by Shel Silverstein, maybe.
It's a great guess.
I'll just say,
Dr.
the
Seuss.
Seuss,
It is Dr.
Dr.
Seuss.
Seuss.
Okay.
oh, is it the Lorax?
It is not.
green eggs and ham.
No, I wish.
you know I was going to go for that one.
Is it
Yeah.
Oh, the Places You'll Go?
It is.
Oh, the places you'll
cool.
go.
Yeah, it's at number 8 on the list,
Wow.
which I was shocked because I was like, why is that
I'm
back
not.
on the
You
list?
want to know why? Because so many people will get that as a graduation gift.
That's what I learned.
Yeah.
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 Which is so fat. Like I didn't even think about that. But that's a genius idea. But yeah, I just thought that was fascinating and
That's
had to share
really
it.
cool.
Yeah.
That is
Very
cool.
Very
It
cool.
just goes to show, like you said, even something that came out like years and years ago, it can gain popularity again.
Yeah.
And
You
like,
strike the right chord.
Right.
And
Yeah.
it's like, that's what they say. Sometimes they say artists, certain artists like you were in the wrong era. You should have been in this era.
Yeah.
You would have gotten this, that, and the third. So
right.
It's really cool.
But all right, I think that's about all the time that we have today. Thank you all for joining me.
Thanks for
and
having us.
Thanks
It's always
everybody for
fun.
listening.
And
yeah,
thanks
very
to
fun.
Broadmoor for letting us come record here.
Yes, thank you.
On behalf of
Definitely.
Broadmoor, you're welcome.
Thanks.
And remember, we have Family Literacy Night, July 12th at 6 p.m.
Yes, our family literacy night will be, like Kaden said, Saturday, July 12th, and it will go from 6 to 7:30. So,
Cool.
Perfect. And until the next episode, we will see you later.
Bye.
peace out.
Dream discovered too. Shreve Memorial Library and you.